Greetings to all, now it's time to make some Psytrance sounds. So today we're going to be looking at a very almost generic Psytrance sound that it's a sound you can hear in almost every track, or if you don't hear it that particular way, you kind of hear a different variation of it. And it's like that classic Psytrance Zap sound. If you don't know what sound I'm talking about, I'm just going to go through quickly our Psytrance Visions Ghost Act pack. It's our Psytrance pack, and there's a bunch of zaps in there, and you'll soon realize what sound I'm talking about. And yeah, those are more kind of funky ones, but I'm going to show you the most basic way of doing it, and after that we're going to spice things up and make more more complex variations of it. And I'm going to show you how you can make your put your touch in it, put your special signature sound, and make it your own. But let's start with the basic. I have a pattern here. It's just one note, and you don't need much for that. You just need that one note. We're gonna start, like I said, super basic. It's gonna be the default saw. You want to get an LFO. Why we're gonna use an LFO instead of an envelope is that the LFO in Serum offers much more control. So I'm gonna drag that on the coarse pitch, but we want to go in the matrix and click here that have just that sending one way instead of two ways. And for the moment we have you could do it LFO style with a full rotation, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna stick with one motion, so I'm gonna use it as an envelope. And we just want to find to modulate the pitch in an interesting way so we can get that laserish sound. Not bad. Alright, let's maybe put an octave lower. Another octave lower, maybe. Yeah, okay. What I like, what we're gonna do later, I really like to go in those lower octaves and get those textures and spikes that are really interesting. So we have, let's say, something somewhat interesting here, but we're not just gonna keep it like that in plain sight with no filter or anything. We're gonna get a filter. You can choose the curve you want, but usually 18 is good. I'm gonna put a little bit of drive, and the idea is to get some filter action along with the pitch shift. The very most basic thing to do would be to take the LFO and have the similar, the exact same modulation on the filter than the pitch. And remember, we want to get that one way. So let's hear how that sounds. Super basic, and but already kind of feels like a zap. So that would be the basic setting. You can put more resonance if you want to have that those resonance spikes. So from that point, what we can do is try to get a bit more pitch shifting action here. That's too much. You could also uncheck the BPM and really just use the speed you want. That's the basic setup. What we're going to do, I'm going to use the FL Studio Fruity Delay Tree, and because when it's dry, it's quite not as exciting as it should. And gonna go here. I chose 6. The time it's 6. Yeah, I'm gonna get some ping pong and put a bit of pan offset here, and listen how it sounds. So what we could do is just render that sound. You can save your preset and make different declinations of the same sound. You know, different version, just slightly change the modulation. I render the first version of this one. I'm going to go here and just change the settings. I rendered the two different variations of the same sound. You have this one here, and this one here. It's just the same patch, but with a slightly different change. And what you can do, once you have these rendered, you can start and put them across your track and use them, because they kind of have the same signature sound. Now I'm going to show you at this point how you can spice things up. First, we can change the filter. We could go at the band pass. We could either, and also I'm gonna get rid of that modulation here. So I have nothing assigned here, and I'm gonna use the band pass 20. You could use this one for a bit of smoother, but I really want to have something sharp. The bandpass will allow you to put the emphasis on a certain frequency and to sweep it across the spectrum, and this is gonna end up in some nice texture. So I'm gonna put LFO2, and what I want is to get a nice sweep. That's good. So changing filters work. What I can do is now changing the waveform. I'm gonna go get one of my favorite. So I ended up choosing from analog to digital, which is another of our wavetables. This one kind of go from an analog base and it goes with a digital modulation. It was a remap, I think, and we can have a similar motion, add a similar motion to the wavetable. So we have the filter motion, we have the pitch modulation, and we also have that wavetable changing. So it's gonna add more texture, more motion to the sound. So changing wavetables is another tool in your toolbox. So if you want to get those zap that are different, I'm gonna go back to a more regular saw wave, which is the Anaconda saw, and I'm gonna show you another trick I use. It's the distortion, and you can go right there in the down sample and put some motion on the distortion. Distortion was another good trick you could use. Another thing you could do is FM, get some another wavetable here and put some frequency modulation from B and have some motion on that FM frequency modulation. And while we were doing this, I always kept the same motion on the filter, but you know, it's just once you end up having 2 or 3 different parameters that you modulate in 2 different motion, you can just change the recipe and get a different zap. The last thing I will show you today is a little resampling techniques that is going to be applied at once you have your rendered first time your sample. You're gonna end up with the audio here. I isolated just that part of the sample. I gave it a channel, and I'm gonna give it its own delay. Again, I use delay, Fruity Delay Tree, and it's gonna be some kind of a dub delay trick. I'm gonna remove the tempo sync. I already did a tutorial on how to create some like a Psytrance riser with the dub delay, but I'm gonna show you this one's gonna be more some kind of texture atmosphere you can create. You want to have a lot of feedback. You're gonna automate the time, and let's hear first how it sounds raw like this. That's cool. It's a bit too long. I copy the value, and what I want is to slow down the time here, so I'm gonna get that long effect. There's a built-in filter for your feedback on the delay, but I always want more control on my sound, so I'm gonna use just a delay after that to sweep that signal. So just gonna get rid of the resonance for now. Gonna use the cutoff, do less tweak, create an animation clip, and I'm gonna shape the tail of the delay. Gotta add a bit more resonance to give it more character. And that is cool, but it comes out a bit dry after that. I'm gonna put another delay at the end, but this one I'm going to get the output here, so there's nothing going in the delay, and I just want to delay that tail here, so it's just gonna get active more towards the end here. So I really stretch the sound, and the texture continues morphing, and I could go on and on. I could move the pen and make it even more interesting. So this is it. I started with the most default wavetable, just some little bit of filter action, a little bit of pitch shift modulation, and then we changed the recipe, added some stuff, and it became more and more complex. And really the resampling part I showed you last is also really about that in Psytrance. If you want to get some unique atmosphere, you should not stick necessarily to the sound out of the box, straight out of the plugin. Resampling can help you achieve more complex textures. So that's it for the Psytrance Zap. I hope you will start making your own now and have some fun, create some nice soundscapes, some nice texture, have fun producing. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe for more content by myself or other Ghost Act producers. And I will see you in another video.